I've got a recipe for you that's really quick and simple to make and so delicious. It's a spicy penne with chorizo and a roasted tomato sauce. So I'm going to show you how to make your own roasted tomato sauce using beautiful, fresh, seasonal ingredients. Tastes fantastic, and I promise you the family will love it. What we're going to do is start off with some tomatoes on a tray, a little bit of olive oil, and we're going to roast them ourselves, okay? So just a little drizzle of oil, little pinch of salt, also over the other veggies, and of course some freshly ground black pepper. So I've got these on 2 trays. I've got my tomatoes, I've got a red capsicum, some onions, and a little bit of garlic. Basically everything that would normally go into a pasta sauce. However, this one be roasted first so you get that beautiful caramelized flavor. Now, we're going to put the tomatoes in for about an hour, because what we're really trying to do is dehydrate them. So we're going to get that really intense, delicious flavor. This tray is going to go in for half an hour, and I'm going to show you how to get the seeds and the skin off the capsicum really simply. Beautiful. Now, this is a really versatile recipe. It's quite spicy because the chorizo has a little bit of spice, and there's also a few of these guys, dry chili flakes. If you don't want it spicy, or if you've got kids that don't want it spicy, all you do is you cut right back on this, and if the chorizo is even too spicy, then you can switch it out for a different type of sausage. You could use an Italian salami, or even just a sausage that you pick up from Coles. Okay, so the capsicum's been in the oven for half an hour, so I'm going to pull it out, and what we're going to do is just grab a bowl and some cling film, drop the capsicum, which is hot, straight into the bowl and cover it with a cling film. And what's going to happen is the skin is going to steam itself off the flesh of the capsicum. Next, we go ahead and we take the onions that we've roasted and we just add them to our food processor. The garlic we've roasted in the skin, so you want to just squeeze the flesh of the garlic out and pop that into your blender as well. Okay, that's all in. We wait for our capsicum to steam up. Go ahead and peel the plastic off, and then you'll see when you pick it up, what'll happen is all of that skin should just come off really easy, just like that. Get rid of all of those seeds. If it's still too warm to handle, you can even stick it in the fridge for 5 minutes before you need to handle it. You pick up your capsicum and you pop that into the blender, and the last thing we need is the tomatoes. Oh, they look good. Beautiful. You'll see a lot of that moisture's gone away, which means the flavor's even more intense than it was. Straight into your blender. You'll see they're still nice and hot. Right, now, the only thing I'm gonna say is let this cool down a little bit, because if it's too hot, the pressure's going to build up inside the food processor or the blender. So this one will be okay because the onions are pretty cool, the capsicum's pretty cool, and so is the garlic. But don't put it all straight from the oven into a blender, because there's a chance the lid will blow off. So just give it a few minutes to cool down, maybe half an hour. You go ahead and pulse that together. Now, you don't need to blend it until it's totally smooth. You still want it to be a little bit chunky to give that nice texture. Delicious. Okay, we start off with this beautiful Spanish sausage. I really love it. What I like to do is just cut it in half lengthways, and you can see the different pieces of fat and the spice in there. I'm going to go ahead and cut through this. And in a nice hot pan, I've got a cast iron pan here, and I love using this for this kind of dish because what happens is it really retains the heat. Scoop up your chorizo, pop that into the pan. If you need to use a little bit of oil, that's fine. Depends on the sausage. Some are fattier than others. I don't think you need a whole lot with this style sausage because there's already quite a bit of fat in it. So I like to put the sausage in, have a little look. You know what? I don't think it needs any oil. Once the water comes up to a boil, penne goes in, lid goes on, and that cooks for about 12 minutes. Once your chorizo's had a minute or two, you want to just give it a stir around, and you're hoping to get a little bit of colour both in the bottom of the pan and also on the chorizo, of course. So that's just a little bit of natural caramelisation, some of that natural sweetness. Then I'm going to put in a teaspoon or half a teaspoon or so of the dried chili flakes. So just go ahead and sprinkle that around. Once you've got this incredible smell fill in the kitchen, you know you've done things right because it looks just beautiful. You'll smell a little bit of that spiciness from the chili pepper. Go ahead and pick up your food processor and add in your tomato, pepper, garlic and onion. Oh, the smell that fills the room when you cook this at home is just incredible. It's really, really delicious. So because all of the tomatoes, the capsicum, the onions and the garlic were already cooked, all you're really doing here is heating it through. So you're combining the beautiful flavour of the chorizo with all of those delicious flavours of the tomato sauce. You leave it nice and thick like this. It looks delicious. Have a little taste. Yum. It's so good and so spicy. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt, more pepper if you please. Okay, and then our pasta should be cooked. Just take one piece of that penne out. Check that it's al dente. Looks good to me. Perfect. Okay, so we turn the heat off the pasta. I'm just going to strain it and then add it to the sauce. Now, I always put my hot steaming pasta back over the pot that I just cooked it in to keep it nice and hot. Bring it back over, give it one last shake, and then add that straight in like that. At this point, you're literally just folding that pasta through that beautiful sauce. Now, the last thing left to do is to come over here, grab yourself a little bit of fresh basil. I love the flavour of fresh basil with pasta, so just break a little bit of that off and just roughly chop just a little bit, like so. Give your pasta one more good stir. You can turn the heat off now because there's no need to cook anything any further. And then the last thing we're going to do is add that beautiful fresh basil. And as soon as it hits that hot pasta, you just smell this delicious herbaceous flavour. It's so, so good. Stir it in. So I'll tell you what, you end up with this incredible dish of pasta that you can just stick on the table and you'll make the family happy. They don't need to know that it's full of goodness and it costs you less than 10 bucks to make. But what we do now is you get yourself a nice big bowl and spoon a big generous portion. Oh, delicious. And then a little bit of Aussie Parmesan. Straight over the top like that. And I tell you what, it's so irresistible, I'm not going to resist it. Bon appetit.